Hello, this is Rita again, and today I'm gonna show you the process of creation of this blouse with corset detailing and a very feminine neckline. Stay tuned if you have an interest, and let's get started. For this project you will need main fabric, also interfacing fabric, a pattern, also some sewing accessories, bra cups, also boning and tunnels. This bustier top is kind of intermediate level for those who are able to create something more complicated. It's not the easiest garment for making and also not the cheapest. For this top I used 1 meter of pure silk chiffon fabric with a floral pattern and 1 meter of mixed cotton silk lining. But I suggest to take a larger amount of fabric. Silk is very flexible, which makes it harder to work with. To make it more stiff, you can spray the hairspray with high fixation to the silk. I'm not very good at drawing, but I decided to sketch my idea first on paper. I cut 1 piece of main fabric of each pattern and 2 pieces of the lining part. I sew the front part of the chiffon with one of the parts of the lining. Together they become one, like one single piece. I do this to hide the seam allowances, so they are not visible through the chiffon later. We have one more piece of the lining part, which we will later sew on to the front part. So this is the layer of the lining part, and this one is the front part. Double lined. This is the underwire, and it's time to sew on 2 parts together. I added 5 boning channels. Later on I will insert the plastic boning, and also I plan to sew this sew-in boning along the zipper, so it will give a little bit more strength. I just created a prototype of the shoulder part of this blouse, of this top, just to check how it fits, because I drafted a pattern by myself, so I didn't know how it will fit, so now I will have to make some adjustments to this part, and after that I will cut the parts of the main fabric. I bought these foaming cups from online store, but they are a bit smaller than I need because my pattern is a little bit bigger, so they will not fit in, so I decided to create my own fabric for this interfacing cups. I made a sandwich between 2 layers of flizzoline, and between them here is the polyester foaming material, which is used for filling in the puffer jackets or something like that. I glued a non-stretchable ribbon to the side of the neckline to prevent it from stretching, because this line is cut on the bias. I have prepared the cups, made a ruching in the front. In the back here's the 1 layer of the lining fabric, and the front is 1 layer of silk chiffon fabric. Now I'm preparing the boning channels. I press the channel with the underwire inside to give it a shape, a curvy shape. Now I'm making the collar, and I plan to add some ruffles to the top part of the collar. Cut out the simple sleeves. I already attached the sleeve to the bodice, and also I made a little small romantic detail, a frill detail, and attached it to the shoulder part. And it's time to attach the cuffs, just simple cuff. I'm almost done with the top. I have to roll the bottom part, the hemline of this top, and I have to add the zipper to the back side. And also, I don't know, maybe I will add some fake buttons to the cuffs to make it more romantic. Now I'm ready to show you the final reveal of the top. I'm just obsessed with how it turned out. I like the cutouts at the neckline, and on the back it has 5 bone-in channels and underwire. Of course, it wasn't as smooth as I thought it would be. I messed up with the shoulder pattern. It turned out too narrow. The armholes are not at the right place, and because of it, the sleeves are also narrow. I can't raise my hands properly. I didn't have any additional piece of fabric to recreate the back detail, so don't repeat my mistakes. But I love the blouse anyways. If you like it too, like, subscribe, leave comments. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!